This is the true story of one family who sold their house, packed up their life, and decided to live nowhere on purpose.
What absolute abnormal people would even conceive of something this ridiculous?
2 kids, 2 parents, 6 months, no fixed address.
There are some people who are like, oh, that's so nice for you. And probably secretly in their head going, what the fuck? Find out what happens when you stop watching the travel influencers who make it all look perfect and start living their nomadic life with kids. For real.
Did we name this podcast?
We called it Trips and Giggles.
Oh, that's right, because I was going to say welcome back to Trips and Giggles.
Okay, so we're back for episode 2.
I was hoping you would start with El Pan.
I haven't heard her yet tonight, so maybe it's coming.
If we hear her, can we just stop and try to see if we can
get the audio
of
you
that?
know, in the first episode you could actually hear it a little bit in the background, so if people didn't hear that, you have to go back and listen carefully.
Well, this time we're going to stop and there'll just be dead space of nothing happening, and as you turn it off, that's when it'll happen.
So we said during our first conversation that there was a bunch of stuff we were going to come back to, and we figured that talking about Portugal might be a good place. Haven't even been a week in Mexico yet, so I think we're going to give it a week and then we'll come back with some stories from Mexico later, but we'll talk about Portugal first.
Yeah, because I mean, part of this system here, which I don't think we kind of give a why, but is we're cataloging this 6 months we spend in 8 countries and what that's like and the experience from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Portugal being at least for me, it was the longest I've ever lived abroad, but for you, that's not true.
Yeah, I studied abroad in college, but this was a different experience for sure.
Yeah, you weren't drunk swimming in a fountain this time.
Accurate. That only happened once.
I'm jealous. It's pure jealousy that I can't say to my credits in life when people are like, tell me a story when your craziest time.
Yeah.
I don't have something as good as that.
Well, I will say when I was studying abroad in England, we had a 3-week spring break, which is wild and awesome. But we did a backpacking trip. Me and 2 other girls did a backpacking trip around Europe, and maybe we'll talk about that another time.
I think that's not a bad thing to talk about because it has somewhat shaped the way you travel now.
Yes, that's accurate. Right? Yeah. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that Portugal was never on that list. There were a bunch of places we didn't visit. We visited quite a few places. And so I had no idea what to expect.
Actually, that's a great point. You and I have gone back and forth many times, which is where do you want to go? What is your top 5 list of places that you want to go?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was on neither one of our lists.
It was on neither list. I actually was I'm not sure if I'm going to like this, actually. I kind of was concerned because on that backpacking trip, we went to Spain, and I know people are going to come for me on this. I didn't love it. I didn't love Spain. And so
People are going to come for me. The 3 fans that found the show are going to come after you and say, what, girl? You hate Spain? Well, I hate you.
Well, I didn't say I hated it. It just, there were other places that I liked better. And so I was kind of oh, is this going to be a ho-hum experience?
We didn't love Barcelona. Again, yes. Same 3 fans are coming after you. We didn't love Barcelona. Madrid was great. We can talk about that another time. But I think we both were kind of ho-hum in Barcelona.
So, yeah, accurate. Yeah. So I think we will talk about Portugal over several episodes because we were there for 3 months. There's lots to talk about.
Right.
The one thing I think that struck me, I think both of us, is how insanely kid-friendly it was. I mean, know. Do you agree with me?
No, I do, because I think of, and I wish I had kind of like a great story for this, but we're kind of riffing this as much as we do. But the juxtaposition is the amount of time where people have given us dirty looks in restaurants. You know what I mean? Like our kids losing their shit, rolling around the floor, being kids, being, totally age appropriate, angry, they didn't get a sugar, or they want a toy, or they're throwing sugar packets, or whatever it is, between the restaurant staff or other adults who apparently either don't have children or forgot what it's like to have children.
Yeah.
Just staring our asses down. Like, what's wrong with you, parents?
Yeah.
You clearly can't control your children like we did in 1968.
Not just that. Remember what I told you the other day? I was in like a grocery store, and our almost 2-year-old had a complete meltdown in the store because I took a piece of chocolate away from her that she had ripped off of one of the shelves, and then threw herself on this floor screaming. And there was some woman who came over and was like, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? I thought something was wrong. And I was like, no, I'm just not allowing my child to steal chocolate from the aisles.
What did she say though? Didn't she say, I thought she got hurt and you weren't doing something about it?
Something
like she
that.
totally called you out of like, you're clearly a bad parent because your child had a tantrum, And yeah, I mean, generally, and we'll go into this specifically, but like, I think the Portuguese had nothing but like compassion and empathy. Mm-hmm. Empathy, right? Being like, oh, I've been there. It's tough to have kids and it's okay. Yeah. And most of them came to comfort your children.
Yes.
Right? Like straight up comfort your children.
Yeah. I mean, we were in a restaurant. I know there's other stories that we're going to tell, but I think we were in a restaurant, a tiny restaurant, which was a relatively nice place.
Are you going to jump forward there? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
should I?
Yeah, go for it. This is great.
And I was a little bit concerned about bringing the almost 2-year-old into the restaurant.
We had wanted to go to this place. Sorry to cut you off. We had like wanted to go to this place. It was really nice. We had passed it multiple times into our apartment in Portugal. We were staying for Boundless. And I've gone by it and said to Megan, oh, I'd love to go there. But it was clearly like white tablecloths, beautiful wine glasses, beautiful silverware. I had never seen a child in this place or near this place. Yeah,
so we came in, we were like, well, if it's really bad, we'll just get the food to go and we'll go across the street and finish eating in our apartment.
Because we only had Nuggie. We only had
the other one was playing
18 months old. The other one was on a play date.
Yeah. So the worker or the waiter came over and he handed us a whole pack of washable markers.
Yes, and stuff to write on.
And
a white leather chair to use as a writing base.
Right, and I go, this is a really bad idea. She's not going to keep it on the paper. And he goes, no, it's okay. They're washable. And I was having a mini panic attack because I'm going, no, you don't understand. Like, she's just going to start scribbling on the floor and the furniture and the wall. And I was like, and he came over, he like drew on the floor and then sprayed it, right, with like, what do you call it, washing fluid? Spray fluid.
He had this bottle and it said washing fluid on it, like big, bold letters, but it was Portuguese and we're clearly fluent. So.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying. And wiped it up and goes, it's washable. Don't worry about it.
Yes, he literally shows us and then says it's okay.
Yeah.
I will say, well, again, that does say kid-friendly, but I will say, like, my recollection is you were still having, like, severe anxiety about it. So let's go backwards, drop in 10 years prior. We had 2 dogs. We had a dachshund and a corgi named Finny and Willow, and we were living in Seattle between 2012 and 2015. And Seattle was super cool, and I won't go too far into this because we're talking about kid-friendly things, but I'm just talking about Megan feeling anxious about people and not upsetting them or imposing on them, being judged by them. And by the way, I'm not saying this is a detriment, it's just how you feel.
Yeah.
I have anxiety too, severe about other shit. Anyway, so some of the restaurants were dog-friendly restaurants, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. So we bring the dogs into King's. It's a burger joint in Ballard.
Yeah.
And
God, so bad.
The dogs sit under the table, and our corgi has almost as severe anxiety as we do. And
She just was farting.
She was just farting nonstop.
Just
I mean, you could just
loud.
you'd hear a sound, and then you'd sit, and then you'd just waft up to the table as we're trying to eat a burger.
I think it's important to note that this is sort of like a German beer hall. They're like large. Yeah, they were like picnic tables.
Yeah, it was picnic tables, but it wasn't really a German beer hall.
Okay, well,
King's was
yeah,
more
kind of not. But it was picnic table style. So like there were other people around.
Really? Yeah, oh yeah, they were super close. I mean, the place
Yeah.
was busy. It was very busy.
And it was really smelly.
Oh no, it was horrific. But I was like, I'm not ruining this moment. I was like, everyone smell my dog's farts because we want to have our dogs out.
Yeah, so no,
She couldn't even eat.
No,
Literally left the restaurant.
I took the dog out and I just walked until everybody was done eating
Yeah,
because I couldn't just sit there and have the dog fart under the table.
So even though this guy was super kid friendly, it was still very hard. But yes, Portugal was incredibly kid friendly. That was a great example of one of them. But I think the start in the beginning was you more, and so Meghan is more like the travel guru. So since I'm the one saying, no, I don't want to do this, and then she coaxes me into it or bribes me into it, one or the other, she took over for kind of all the planning in the sense of this travel. So, I mean, how did you find Martinhal? Was it just a search process? Like, how did you find them?
I was spending way too much time scrolling on TikTok.
My phone says I spend about 3 hours a day on TikTok, but that's not true.
I mean, yeah, I was looking on TikTok or YouTube or something for kid-friendly hotels in Lisbon, and this one popped up numerous times. It was like the room had a special kid beds. It had a washing machine. We'll talk about the washing machines though.
It was a pull-out bed.
Yeah.
So like it was like the wall, like bunk beds that are on the wall, so you could push them up into a shelving unit almost, and then they would slide down into these bunk beds that came off the wall.
Almost like a Murphy bed.
Yeah, it's similar to Murphy bed, but not like into the wall. It wasn't recessed.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, our plan was, so our Boundless Life cohort, which is the company we'll talk about that we did this Portugal trip with, we decided to go in early to get through the jet lag, because Meghan and I think we mentioned in the last episode, had traveled when our oldest was 18 months old. We went to Germany and Italy, and we know for about 4 days,
brutal.
It's just a shit show, right? Kids are off by 6 hours. You can imagine what that feels like. You're up in the middle of the night, you're falling asleep, you're angry during the day. It's a mess. So anyway, Meghan found this place, and
so it was amazing. I mean, from the moment we got there, they had a kid-friendly restaurant with a car that you could climb into and kid-friendly food.
Yes, they had a specifically kid-friendly menu. They had dietary restriction menu points, vegan stuff, gluten-free stuff, which doesn't impact us, but I thought it was cool that, this your introduction to a country is like, oh, this place caters to multiple diets, allergies. My recollection when we came in was like the first thing was like Corgi, our oldest, like going towards this kids club. Yeah. Like she saw it in the window and she's like, what is that? And so they walked us through and explained it to us. They did a tour of the place. They showed us how to sign up, the process. And even though we were jet lagged, our oldest was like, I want to go right now. Like right
she
now.
Immediately wanted to go, and then she never wanted to leave.
That was the part.
She was angry about us like taking her and being like, "Hey, spend time with us," and instead of in the kids club. No, she didn't want to leave.
We couldn't get her out of that. Like we wanted to take her around Lisbon, but she didn't want to do it. So it was like the second day she did 3 sessions. They're like 4-hour sessions in a row, and she did like 3 sessions. We did put our youngest, 18-month-old. We felt good about it because they have really specific people doing diaper spots with those kids. And we actually went on, was it day 2? We went to like a wine bar across the street. We went on a date.
We haven't been on a date in like forever.
We date?
Do we date? In Portugal we date.
People with young kids, this is pretty normal stuff. You're just like, oh gosh, who do I feel good about with my kids,
Yeah.
Which is probably more our issue because we're more concerned and we have expectations for how they should be treated or what should happen. But yeah, so she loved, and I'll be honest, like, to me, when I saw this kids club at this specific one, I wasn't blown away. Like, it was a giant room. There was all different levels of stuff. There was video games, which is what she loved. There was like toys, there's books, there's tables, there's arts and crafts. They had specific events that they were doing. Yeah. Like they had themed events. They had
They had
themed
scavenger
hunts they would do. They had dance party at night, movie nights.
Yeah.
They had all these different themes, and she was in it.
Yeah.
Like she was like.
We should say here, we are not getting paid. I mean, this podcast hasn't even done anything yet. Like, we're not getting paid by Martinhal. We are not.
That's true.
Nobody has like.
Can you put that in the intro? This episode was not sponsored by Martinhal.
It literally is that we just absolutely loved it. There is. I still have not found anything like it.
Well, I heard the understanding is that
places.
Germany has like those Kinderminer
Yes.
places in Germany,
But we haven't
and
been there.
for those 2 fans that yelled at you, they're just like, "Oh, Spain actually has some," because I looked at some of those Iberostar resorts. They do have kids clubs. Maybe it's different.
But it's not like a resort, or it's not like a hotel that you would find in the middle of a city, right? Like those.
Oh
resorts.
yeah. This was in what they call the Chiato district, and we were like in it. Like within a couple of blocks, we could walk down to the water. We could walk into this main walking area, which was this. Like it was the location of that was my favorite location in the city, probably that I went to.
Yeah.
I would say in Lisbon specifically.
So because we liked it so much, there are 4 Martinhals in Portugal, and during the 3 months that we were there, we visited 3 out of 4 of them.
We probably would have gone to the 4th if the drive wasn't so far, because it's in the Algarve, which is like the complete south of Portugal, and it's just a long drive. And driving with little kids, which we already did to go to the Martinhal Sagres.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's what we'll talk about, the kid-friendly nature. We can go into each one of our experiences. So,
Yeah.
is there more that you have? Like you were going to talk about the Chiato one. Which is the first one we went to. Our room was awesome. That building had like 14-foot ceilings. It must have been some special, I don't know, amazing building back in the day. I loved that one. It was like a giant room, and then there was an off bedroom. It only had a single bathroom, and the kids kind of slept in the living room to an extent. But I still thought that kitchen was humongous and open, and had beautiful windows.
Yeah.
It was just a nice place.
Yeah, just generally, I would stay there again in an instant.
Oh, yeah.
If we were going back to
100%.
And the nice thing was, you can use the kids club even if you're not a guest there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that because we talked about going back to Lisbon, and so
just
it
like
costs. I
doing
think it's like $15 more, so it was like €30 for 4 hours instead of like €15 if you stay there. I'm gonna get that totally wrong, but my point is like yes, you could actually use the kids club anytime you want to.
Right. We didn't end up doing that, but we talked about doing that.
Yeah, because last time when we went back again with other friends for the program, we went back to Lisbon a couple of times. We just kept the kids with us because coordinating that entire effort, and that's one thing which is like it's not a negative to them. You had to sign up in advance.
Yes.
You can't just show up and say take my kids.
Yeah.
Like all of the places.
Even though Cordy wanted to go back.
Cordy wanted to go back, but there has to be a sign up in advance. We got away with it when we were staying there because we would just sign up for the next session each time. But
yeah, I mean, I think there were the other things that just generally people were great around. They were very open and kind.
The buffet was a breakfast. The breakfast was a buffet. Sorry.
Breakfast was a buffet.
So that was really nice.
Almost every restaurant we went into, every hotel, people were lovely.
Well, we went. There was I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Around the corner from the restaurant on the other side of the road, there was a little Italian place, and I don't think the food was the greatest food in the world. Like, that was good, but like at some point, someone in the one of the wait staff literally picked up our youngest and was just carrying her around the restaurant because she was restless. So they were like showing her the pizza area and showing her where the food comes from, and like
and then Cordy went back. They showed her how to
they
make
showed
the pizza.
they showed Cordy how to make a pizza. Like
Yeah.
that, it was not a kid friendly. This wasn't on their website. It didn't say on their menus. They let the
just
kids
people were
happen.
just nice.
People just gave a shit. Saw the kids being like they were bored and just took them around and kept them interested. Now, granted, that probably wouldn't have happened if the place was packed, but still, like they didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like people genuinely just liked children, which I feel like the U.S. like people just like children are a bother. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
even in museums, right? Like we went into, you weren't there for this, but we went to one of the castles where we were living in Sintra, and they had a kid-friendly scavenger hunt.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Where you get a prize at the end, which kept our kids interested the entire time, right? Like normally you go to a museum and they're like, oh, I'm bored, it's so terrible, right? I mean, there was something for them to do, a scavenger hunt, to keep them interested in looking around the room while I read a few signs. And even some of the workers, there was like a worker in each room would come up and would like help, Cordy look for like whatever it was that was on the scavenger hunt for each room. So yeah, it was very cool. And to your point of the restaurants, since we visited 3 out of the 4 Martinhal's.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved about the one that was like a resort style.
Oh, should we go into that one? Because we have to go in. That's the best part.
That was by far the best one.
This place, again, we're not being paid for this. It's in Sagres, so you're talking about the southwest corner. So it's really in a pretty far off remote area in Portugal. So you're pretty far from an airport. But we had a break in the middle of the cohort. So sometime in, where were we? Mid-February. Mm-hmm. So they take a week off so the kids don't have school anymore because they go to school when they're part of this Boundless program. So I was doing research on kid-friendly resorts, and I looked at a bunch of different places, and I was like, we know Martinhal, it's good. I sent it out to other families, and actually one other family decided to join us on this trip, and so we drove 3.5 hours south of Sintra. From Sintra, we rented a car, went along the coast, which was beautiful, and went to Martinhal Sagres. And this place...
Wow. I want to go back again.
I'm not saying anything negative about Portugal. I thought Portugal I really enjoyed it. And again, we're talking about the kid-friendly nature's off the charts. It wasn't my favorite place I've ever been to in Europe. But this resort, I would go just to have a week off. Like, if we had a week and we'd fly in, I would just go to do this thing. Because there was so many things about it. The beauty, the kid-friendly nature, the kids' activities that they had throughout the place. It was just so well thought out in the sense of both thinking, what would adults enjoy?
Yes.
And what would adults enjoy if they had young children?
Yes.
So both the children can feel fulfilled and the adults are like, wow, I can be an adult for 7 seconds and maybe take a shower or change my clothes or pretend to look nice for an hour or have a conversation without being interrupted or having food thrown at me. Like all the things that you really want that you miss as an adult.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this story multiple times. My favorite part about that place was the restaurants because there were like, in one of them specifically.
Well, there's 2 restaurants on the property, right?
2.
Okay.
The one had a kid area, there was puzzles and games and
Legos. It was a whole, think about it like a 10 by 10 space in a corner they put together with just shelves of kids stuff to play with.
Yeah, and then there was a childminder.
The kinderminder.
Who, imagine you go into a restaurant, if you have kids, you're eating, that you usually order their food first, or at least we do, just to get them eating.
As fast as possible. The moment the person comes to the desk, chicken fingers and pasta with butter, put nothing else on it. And they just look at you like, oh, I'll bring that out first? Yes, bring it now.
But then by the time the kids are done eating, your food is barely arrived. Then they're climbing over you onto other people while you're trying to eat.
One of us shovels food into our face and the other one walks the kids around, and it's just it's a mess.
Yeah, so this place, you could literally just go, okay, go over there and play.
Go to the kids area.
And the childminder would play with them.
Play with your
while
kids.
You finished dinner.
And so
it was amazing.
So it was a really nice place too. So you can get really nice wine, really nice food. It was all glass in the back. So you're overlooking oceanfront property, water, seeing the sunset. And so you're in this beautiful place, your kids are there, and you could just sit there as long as you wanted to.
Yeah. I will say, and both restaurants were surrounded by outdoor playgrounds.
Oh, yeah. So the other restaurant, which is the main restaurant where the check-in area is all glass. And we were there in the winter, so the people weren't doing this much, but all the tables would line against the window, and you could slide the door open, and your kids would come out, and it was a freaking giant playground. I mean, humongous bounce house, 2 trampolines, swing sets, 2-story play places. I mean, it was nuts. And so again, you'd sit there, and as long as your kids are old enough, you feel comfortable, and you're just eating food, watching your kids playing on giant enclosed area. They're not going to run away. They're not going to go anywhere, and they don't want to leave.
No.
So you might as well take your time at dinner. Plus, that place, the first restaurant, also had, when you walk in the door,
we had the kids buffet.
You sign up for the kids buffet. So your kids walk up with your kids, And you get them pizza, pasta, fruit. They had all the kids' things. So they're eating. You don't even have to talk to somebody. Immediately.
The moment you walk
So
in.
you know they're going to eat. They're going to do whatever. You're going to order your food. They're going to go outside and play, and everyone's happy. They're not ravenous. They're not ripping the walls down. They're not trying to grab your phone. Baby shark, finger, yelling stuff at you. Let's look on TikTok. TikTok.
Oh, God. Because our youngest is very into the song, the very creepy song, Finger Family.
Okay,
Does anyone
let's talk about this. We need to talk about Finger Family. We could do a whole episode on Finger Family. First of all, where does this come from? And do people know, like, I found the video the other day where it's just 45 minutes of make-offs of Finger Family. So ice cream Finger Family, dinosaur Finger Family. But
there's a Bluey Finger Family too.
The part when our oldest did this, the part that was pissing me off, because this is Coco Melon. I'm ripping on you, Coco Melon, your 480 million views. First of all, something about Finger Family throws me off. Take that wherever you want to take it. But the problem was like, what do you do, right? Mommy finger. What do you do? Okay, so like daddy plays guitar, right? Mommy exercise?
Yes.
And then what was
the son building things.
The son was like building or like science project. What was the daughter?
I don't remember what but it was not. It was
it seemed very like sexist. Yeah. Gendered.
So we used to change the words.
We would change the words every time we sang it.
Mommy finger, she does research.
Yeah, solves science problems. Found cures for MS. Daddy finger, what do you do? Lay on the couch and cry really hard.
Now we do daddy cooks.
Daddy cooks and daddy cleans. We're like, we're not going to bring our kids up in some kind of environment where they think, well, this is what they do. Oh Mommy stays at home. The hell with that.
Exercises.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Anyway, going back.
There's a tangent. Now we return to your regular scheduled program.
Oh, my God.
With your host, Dr. Byer. I hope that wasn't a commercial for Finger Family.
No, I hope not.
That's like when your mom texts you and she's like, I have this song in my head.
She's like, I hate that song.
I hate that finger song. It's stuck in my head.
Listen, you and me both. Welcome back to parenthood.
Oh my God. Okay, so this restaurant's in Sagres, the buffet. So which solves the issue of us like freaking people out ordering chicken fingers right off the bat. Yeah. That buffet situation, which the other restaurant we talked about that had the Kinderminer section, I wish they had also had the buffet.
Yeah.
They did have a beautiful kids menu. It's humongous, again, very kid friendly, specific situation. But I wish they had both had like the kids buffet. They did have a buffet at the oceanfront restaurant, but it's for breakfast. And because we got so used to Portuguese food prices, which we'll talk about in another episode, of being so cheap, paying €26 per person for a kids buffet, shocking. I was like, no, that is way too expensive. That is out of my budget. Meanwhile, I think we came home and ordered like one dinner, and it was like $140 or something for 4 of us to eat. It wasn't even decent stuff.
I know.
So that's not the point. So the Sagres Resort had a kids club. The difference being that the one in Chiado and Lisbon, the kids club, the kids were all together, which our oldest cutely and beautifully loves being around her younger sister. Likes the opportunity to be in the same space with her, which I would think at this point she'd be like, no, I don't want this one that constantly usurps the attention from mommy for me. But she does. And so
she does a great job.
The kids club since Sagres was much larger, was split. So there was a little kid one and an older kid one. Uh-huh. And the part that was interesting, my recollection, you tell me the difference is they both didn't like that as much.
They didn't like that
so
as much.
Our youngest...
But I think it's because we were there when it was not very crowded because it was winter, as Damon said. But I think in the summer, it's probably, there's tons of people there, so they have to split up the age groups.
I get that. Like, yeah, because the one that our youngest was in, I mean, there was only one other kid there. Yeah. And it was one of the other family that we went with.
For one day.
One day.
There was one, I will say this. We were that family that got everybody in the cohort sick multiple times. So first...
Oh, you want to go into that one? Yeah, because we brought back the sickness.
There was like one other kid in this kids club for one day.
Yeah, he went in for one day. and
And
bam.
must have given us hand, foot, and mouth.
Yes, some other kid who was already there, not the family we went with. And so our youngest went in one day with this other kid, must have pulled hand, foot, and mouth from this kid. And
yeah, so
that
like
spread.
The very last day, right? The day before our last day.
Yes.
She just broke out with this massively high fever.
Yes.
And now we're like in the middle of nowhere, Portugal.
Yep.
There's no hospitals around.
Yep.
There's no clinics around.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
And we're driving.
I'm having a panic attack.
She's
like,
screaming her brains out. Megan's having a panic attack.
I'm like, what,
I'm exhausted and I want to go home. Wait, this is a whole other story because we went straight to the hospital at the end of our trip.
I will say this was an amazing thing about Boundless, and we'll talk about Boundless more another time, which is we called one of the people from Boundless and was like, we're driving back from the Algarve.
Yes.
We have a 3.5 hour drive. Our kid has 103 fever.
Yeah.
Can you get us into a urgent appointment at any hospital in Lisbon or Sintra?
As we've already mentioned, our Portuguese was terrible. And also by that point, we had tried to get into another clinic and had a really difficult time. More because of a language situation. Remember the first place you tried to get to? And so we had a hard time with that because we should have just done a walk-in, but we tried to schedule it. So.
And they did. They got us an appointment while we were driving back so that we could immediately drive to the hospital and get her taken care of.
It's true. This is very true.
We should talk about the medical care at some point.
We should go into that. You know what? We'll do that. I can't understand. We'll keep track of this and we'll talk about medical care because we extensively studied the Portuguese medical
have to experience the medical
system. When you bring your young kids,
times.
which by the way, a lot of other families have similar stories about the same thing,
Yeah.
including the point where Megan had to go back physically to a hospital, pay the bill because we couldn't pay it online. We even got messages months later about bills we didn't pay, but we'll get into that later. That's not necessarily their fault. But anyway. So going back to the resort, we're going before hand, foot, and mouth. So this place, when we booked it, or I think I booked this one, I don't know, I wanted something nice. I feel like this is relative when I say this, so I want to tell people this situation because I think it's not fair to say something's expensive or not expensive.
Martinhal number 3?
No, I'm talking about the Sagres Resort.
Okay.
Because I still want to talk about, because there's some things I want to talk about there that were kid friendly that I think are helpful to say that we enjoyed. So I'm saying from my perspective, when I picked the place, I wanted to see the ocean.
Yeah.
Like I wanted a nicer place.
Yeah.
So the cost of the place I spent at the time for off season, it was €300 a night.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give people an idea what it costs, which, that's not a cheap hotel.
No.
But considering the accommodations and what we received, I felt like it was great because our place was a 2-story townhome connected to other units. The bottom floor had 2 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms, so a kid's bedroom with 2 beds, and then a owner's suite bedroom, which had a walkout into a patio. And then the upstairs was a giant open space, and the entire wall was a 10-foot high ceiling with a glass door that you could push all the way open, completely wall to wall, and you walk out on this deck and you can look at the ocean and watch the sunset.
Gorgeous.
And it was breathtaking. And I was like, this place is 10 times nicer than the apartment we're in Boundless. And I said to Megan, I was like, so I'm just letting you know, I'm not going back to Sintra. I'm staying here.
I'm staying here.
This
and the amenities in there were better than Boundless.
Oh, yeah.
The stairs had a already built-in.
They had built-in, child-proof gates on the bottom and the top of the stairs that were beautiful and like really easy to use.
They had kids snacks that were put there.
The kitchen was like beautifully set out. They had snacks, tea, coffee. They put stuff in the fridge. They had the high chair set out. Like they had special. They had these beautiful little notes in multiple languages explaining to you how to use the appliances, which if you've ever gone to another country where you don't speak the language, which again I know is on us, so I'm not saying it's their fault, and you want to try to work a washing machine or a range or a dishwasher, good fucking luck figuring that out as you're rolling through YouTube videos to try to figure out how to use a Tekka, which, by the way, I'm calling you out, Tekka. Your stuff is shit. It's shit. I know it's all over Europe. I know it's everywhere. It's shit. If water droplets fall out of a pot and turn heat down on your range while you're using it, that's a bad design.
Well, I don't cook or do laundry, so you would know.
Water droplets. My wife, water droplets. Well, yeah, because when you did do laundry, you put in the towels with the clothes, and you turned all the towels blue.
The one time
you're like, oh, I'm going to do some laundry. I can take care of this. I'm such a Susie homemaker. And then you threw your jeans with the you wrecked all the towels in our boundless apartment, which they didn't charge us for, so that was really nice. Okay, so this Sagrish Martinhal place was just large, airy, absolutely gorgeous. And each day I had coffee, I opened the doors up, and I mean, it was not warm, but it was still beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't hot. No. But just this view of the ocean there, I can still see it in my head. Like, I'm not pulling pictures up. So other kid-friendly stuff about this place was our oldest loved the ferry scavenger hunt. So they put these little ferries with their names on it on secret places throughout the entire resort. And so you would go around trying to find them all and check them off a list. And Cordy loved it. I mean, we spent whole hours walking around the resort.
Which also helps them like not complain while they're walking from one part of the resort to the other because they're looking for ferries.
It's genius. They had indoor and outdoor pools, a gym. They had tennis courts, which we didn't use. Their kids club would have been outside. They have a whole outside kids club, which she did one day and really liked walking around outside. We did a mini golf together. We didn't even do any of the water stuff. I mean, there was like surfing, and because a lot of stuff wasn't even open. They have multiple other like restaurants and bars, but when we were there, they only had 2 open because it just wasn't really popular. Which even downtown Sagrish, I thought was fun and had cool places and restaurants, and anyway,
it was a cute little
I could gush
small
about
surfing town. Yeah,
I could gush about this place for forever.
So I don't want to spend a ton of time on the third one because I don't think either of us were as impressed. It was very beautiful. It was brand new. It was more of like an apartment building with residences. It still had some great amenities that you don't usually find in another hotel. It still had a kids club, but I would say it was definitely more adult focused and didn't have the same kind of feel that the other ones did.
Well, 6 of the floors were like high-end residences, and then the restaurant was very high-end, even though they did have the buffet, which there was like a breakfast buffet. They had a giant room, which was like they called it a family like club room, and so they had movie night every night at 5. They had a pool table, foosball, video games, puzzles, books. That room was cool. Our oldest loved that room. It did have a pool,
which our oldest liked.
Yeah.
And it was walkable to some of the things that, you know, I think
train station,
but also the aquarium.
Oh, that's right. If you went south, the aquarium. Yeah, that's right. I forgot that whole walk down there.
But I think just generally we didn't love that area of Lisbon either.
Yeah, because I think it was a little bit more financial, industrial. Like, other than that walk, which had all this stuff near the Science Museum, it wasn't as great. But didn't we end up there because we were going to the hospital for that appointment? Didn't we go straight from Sagrish to there? Or am I forgetting? Am I messing that up?
I think we were like, oh, we want to experience another one of the or maybe the other one didn't have openings. I think the other one didn't have. It was.
I thought we were. Remember, we were heading back. We're gonna screw this story up. When we went back for that appointment, we went back to Sintra, right? Or I thought the appointment.
It was in Lisbon.
Was in Lisbon.
Straight to Lisbon.
So didn't we get the Orient at that point?
We got the Orient early. Like, we were gonna go back to Sintra, but we decided to go to Lisbon and stay for 2 days because we were going to the hospital.
Well, it's also because your mom was coming.
And my mom was in town.
Yeah, your mom was in town. So
yeah.
Anyway, so I would still say, like, I think the only reason we probably think less of that was because we had the experiences of the other two.
Yeah.
Like, if we hadn't had that, we would have been like, oh my God, there's a room for kids. Yeah. There was also a working space at that one. They had like a whole area for working, which was nice. But the kids club, I think Cordy only went in one time because it was a little bit, I mean, there was nobody there. She was the only one there. And it wasn't really geared at her age level, and it was much tinier. So it was a little bit more geared towards older kids who wanted to be in a communal space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't think it was as walkable. I mean, there's beautiful courtyards. They had a trampoline, but it wasn't open.
Yeah.
So she was pretty sad about that. And I thought the room was, comparatively, we paid the same price for basically all 3. And I thought this room was the smallest
Yeah.
and least nice of all the rooms.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We were just cramped comparatively to living in we were in a 2-story beautiful townhouse for €300, and all of a sudden we're in a 10 by 10 hotel room for €300. Like, I'm not feeling that. Like, that was not happening for me.
Yeah. So anyway, any final thoughts about other kid-friendly things?
I think it's general. Like, I wanted to, I think before this, write down more experiences we had with people.
Yeah.
But I feel like the number of people who either picked up our youngest or wanted to play with them or had things for them to do and draw and play in restaurants was wild.
Yeah.
Like, people were they were like happy to see children in restaurants. We didn't have to worry about it.
Yes.
We didn't have to think about where we had to go anymore.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I don't have any more good examples. I think I just wanted to gush about Martinhal the whole time and not get paid for it.
Right. Well, I think that concludes episode 2 of the kid-friendly nature of Portugal. Yeah, we're going to talk about more later.
How you're going to end that?
That's how I'm ending it.
Well, it's just going to be, that's the end, kid-friendly. Gotcha.
There was several trips and some giggles in that episode.
Son of a...
Really? Okay, I want to talk about that. I wanted the title to be Ships and Giggles because it's more like where this came from, shits and giggles. But we don't really go on ships because Damon is afraid of water. So
it's not just that I'm afraid of water. Cruise ships have no appeal to me. They don't. They don't have any appeal to me.
Yeah.
You know? When the Beach Boys sang about Kokomo, they didn't say, you know, let's take it slow.
Cruise me down to Kokomo?
Yeah. We want to get there fast and then take it slow, not take it slow and then get there fast. Like they you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to take 2 weeks to get to Scotland and then get off the boat with some, you know, E. coli virus, and the fact that, you know, do you remember that boat where the sewage was like rolling through the situations, or the number of times on high water that's happened? Yeah. Plus, like, we studied and looked at things because Corgi was like really into this Disney cruise stuff, and so they show the influencers who get these, you know, shots at the place where there's nobody in it. It looks awesome. When you see the actual videos of people on cruise ships, they look so incredibly overpopulated. I don't like people. And the only thing I don't like more than people is a shitload of people in a space where you can't escape. Do you know the difference between a cruise ship and a prison?
No.
There isn't. You can't leave if you want to. You cannot leave if you want to. I want to get off this cruise ship. You can't until we get to our destination.
True. Yeah.
No. You pay them for that? Okay, that is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard of.
Well, there we go. So that's why we're not ships and giggles, because we're clearly not going on any ships. See, last time I told you there was stuff that we talked about that didn't happen, and we have not been on a cruise ship.
Okay, yes, but it doesn't mean we won't go on a cruise ship. I think you just prioritize how you work me over. Like, I'm going to work you over on the things that are on the highest priority list. And because a cruise doesn't strike you the same way as, like, traveling the world, you're like, oh, well, that's cool. I'll back burner this one. But if it never comes to, like, you know, the front point, I'll work it in. Yeah. I'll find some way to, like, hook him. Get him to come along. Fish hook that bastard.
I guess. Okay. Anyway.
You want to try to end the episode again?
Now at 42 minutes.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yep. Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is our story. We're telling a story.
I know, you're right.
This is for us. Other than the 3 people who complained about the fact that you didn't like Spain, this is for us. It doesn't matter if we meander. We talked about a story in Seattle of our dogs farting. I mean, that was the story we told.
Yeah, it's very unlikely you're going to get lots of listens to this.
So at the end of the day, it's like, we're going to tell this journal, we'll tell this story. If people like it and they align with it and they feel like their parents who are similar align with you or align with me, that's awesome. If they don't, you know what? You and I spent time together and we told the story that we're probably going to forget parts of, that we already did forget parts of.
I know.
So that's what we're doing.
I know, we've been wanting to do this.
We've talked about this for a while, and we're going to catalog the next 6 months in the journey, and most likely I think what people will get is hopefully both ends of the spectrum, the great and then the day where I'm in a mood, and you're just going to get a rant from me about cruise ships,
Yeah.
you know, or something along
Something
those lines.
else. Yeah.
That just drives me insane about it, which again doesn't mean we shouldn't do this, but I think that this part is a nice way of us to, neither one of us are going to journal or probably write a book anytime soon, although you should, because you would have great books. But at the end of the day, this is our way of telling a story, cataloging the story.
Yeah.
And so then when our kids are embarrassed about it and their friends find it somehow in high school through a Google search, there, we helped them go on their journey towards therapy.
I think that's a good way to end it right there. Okay. Until next time.